Tonight on Tom and B News for New Zealand, an Otaki man is in hospital after falling 30 metres from a tree.
Prime Minister John Key is in London to talk to David Cameron and Ed Miliband.
And police have admitted that they knocked down a motorcyclist during a high-speed chase.
This is Tom and B News for New Zealand with Ben the talking dog and Tom the talking cat.
Kia ora, good evening. A new study shows that Auckland is tumbling down the world ranks of house affordability.
The annual Demographia survey measures house prices and Auckland's rating is 8.2.
House prices are cheaper than London, but expensive than New York or Boston.
An Otaki man who fell 30 metres from a tree is in hospital with serious injuries. He fell before 5 p.m. yesterday and was taken to Wellington Hospital.
13 people are expected to appear in court today after two out-of-control parties in Hamilton.
Police officers were pelted with bottles and forced to don riot gear as they fought 100 youths under control.
The flatmate is in question, and he is also one of the 13 people arrested.
Police have concerns for a missing 17-year-old Colombian student who was seen in Hamilton yesterday afternoon.
Police say Daniela Cortez left her home distressed state around 1 p.m. and there is a concern for her well-being.
Anyone who sees her to call 111 or the nearest police station.
Prime Minister John Key is kicking off his political year by going to London to meet British Prime Minister David Cameron and opposition leader Ed Miliband.
From there he will go to Bosnia-Herzegovina to chair a meeting of the Executive Committee of the International Democrat Union.
He will finish up his European political month by going to the WEF in Switzerland.
An aerial drop of 1080 is blamed for the death of the endangered birds in a South Island national park.
New Zealand First outdoor recreation spokesman Richard Prosser says 1080 appears to be killing birds it's meant to be protecting.
A blaze that covered about 1,000 square metres in Christchurch has been contained. The fire broke out at Spencerville Park but did not threaten any people or property.
Police have admitted that they knocked off a motorcyclist during a high-speed chase in Hawera.
A 43-year-old man will appear in court tomorrow on a number of driving and drug charges in the relation to the Friday night chase.
Senior Sergeant Kyle Davey alleged the motorcyclist tried to evade police.
At least 24 people are dead after a two-bus crash in Harare in Zimbabwe. At least 46 other people are injured.
And finally, this is going to be stupid. Somewhere in the United States, a teenager is marrying her dad.
Wow, this is real stupid. This reminds me when Zeus married his sister.
Well, we all know that it is stupid, but we have to let it go now. Traffic in Auckland, and it is free-flowing everywhere.
Let's get to the weather forecast.
Okay, that's all today. We thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Have a nice day, and we will see you tomorrow. Tonight on Tom and B News for New Zealand, an oversized truck has hit a bridge in the Hutt Valley.
A missing tourist has been found 14 kilometers away from his accommodation.
And the two fires in Wellington and New Plymouth have been contained.
This is Tom and Ben News for New Zealand, with Ben the talking dog and Tom the talking cat.
Kia ora, good evening. An oversized truck has hit a rail bridge in the Hutt Valley. It is the second time this month and it caused delays.
Police say the truck and trailer unit hit the bridge at Eastern Hutt Road at the Upper Hutt suburb of Silverstream at 8:30 a.m. this morning.
Buses will replace trains for today.
Fires in New Plymouth and Wellington have both been extinguished and an investigation is now underway of how it started.
The fire at the New Plymouth chicken farm broke out at 5:45 a.m. this morning and 10 firefighters came to the rescue.
The fire in Wellington happened at a meatwork factory at the suburb of Noronga and everyone was evacuated.
A missing Chinese tourist has been found 14 kilometers away from where he disappeared on Monday.
Wang Dao went for a stroll in Green Bay area on Monday morning with no money or cell phone and didn't return to his accommodation.
He is dehydrated at the moment, but we hope he will be okay.
Police have identified the missing man who was dead at Bethells Beach in Auckland. It was 24-year-old Johnny Faitaua.
He was swept away at 4 p.m. on Thursday, January 15th. His death will be referred to the coroner.
Blues winger George Moala is back in training with the team after being found guilty of assaulting Clifford Matoka. Weren't you supposed to be talking?
Sorry, Ben. The assault happened at Auckland's K Road on December 20th, 2012.
He is allowed to travel with the team.
Weather for Auckland, fine and 26 degrees Celsius.
Traffic in Auckland and it's clear.
That's all today. Please subscribe. That's all today. Please subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day and see you tomorrow.
This is Tom and Ben News for New Zealand with Ben the talking dog and Tom the talking cat.
Kia ora, good evening. Lobbyists and opposition political parties are welcoming the idea of light rail through some of Auckland's main arterial routes.
Auckland Transport says it's investigating this idea on Queen Street, Simon Street and other Auckland roads is a good alternative to buses.
Most of those roads had trams running before they were removed in the 1950s. A public-private partnership could be a good way to fund it.
A 22-year-old man is in hospital with critical condition after falling through a roof in Taumarunui. He was flown to Waikato Hospital, sustaining substantial injuries.
Tensions between freedom campers and residents of Christchurch community are at breaking point. The residents also voiced their frustration at wild parties in the car park.
New Brighton Residents Association Chairman Steve Burke says it's a thorny issue.
The Christchurch City Council are now putting up no camping signs at the car park.
A proposed Skypath passageway could allow Aucklanders walk from the CBD to Takapuna, could cost 33.5 million New Zealand dollars to build it. If it goes ahead, the construction will be beneath
The Harbour Bridge. After 10 years of planning, the track is now getting closer to reality with a potential opening date of 2016.
The submissions whether for it to go ahead closed yesterday and there was 11,000 submissions.
A man in his early 20s died at a Gisborne beach after he drowned. Police were called at 10 a.m. to Makagori Beach, where 3 swimmers are in trouble. It's believed that another person is missing.
A trainer at a Les Mills gym in Wellington has died while working.
The 40-year-old instructor died at 6:20 p.m. yesterday, and Les Mills branch posted on Facebook saying, sadly, one of our beloved trainers has passed away. Let's get to the weather forecast for your part of the country.
Traffic in Auckland, and it is clear.
That's all today. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Please subscribe and we will see you tomorrow.
This is Tom and Ben News for New Zealand with Ben the Talking Dog and Tom the Talking Cat.
Kia ora, good evening. The SPCA has hit back at comments made by its Auckland Executive Director, which suggested dog attacks are related to the ethnicity of owners.
Bob Kerridge has come under fire after making the statement on Radio New Zealand National, with Mangere MP Sua Williams-Seo and Race Relations Commissioner Dame Susan Devoy.
His comments are labelled incredibly offensive, but the SPCA says it strongly disagrees with Mr Kerridge's comments and race has nothing to do with responsible dog ownership.
The man accused of killing a woman with an axe and injuring 3 others in Upper Hutt has been remanded for a psychiatric assessment.
Ray Timana Tekora Nichols made a short appearance in the Wellington High Court this morning before Justice Robert Dobson.
The dead woman is Sandra Gurin and she is 55 years old.
The heatwave that has bathed the country has also seen a spike in drownings, with 5 people dying in 3 days.
Two Gisborne brothers aged 19 and 23 were among the victims, as well as a 22-year-old man who tried to swim across the Waikato River.
Yesterday, a 42-year-old Invercargill man drowned at Bluffs Ocean Beach when he got into difficulty while collecting shellfish.
A New Zealand woman is among 6 skiers killed in an avalanche in the French Alps.
The group of 4 men and 2 women aged between 58 and 73 had been trekking at 7,900 feet in the Shiraz mountain range close to the border with Italy.
A man has appeared in court this morning in relation to a shooting and police chase which shut down the Auckland Harbour Bridge last night.
29-year-old Jess Samal from Manurewa has been charged with 6 offences, the most being the discharge of a firearm during a fight in a side street off Auckland's K Road.
A high-speed police chase followed and ended on the Harbour Bridge where the alleged gunman's car crashed.
A major crash has left several people injured and others trapped on the outskirts of Christchurch.
Police say 2 people got serious injuries and 2 received minor injuries when a truck and 2 cars collided on Main South Road between Rolleston and Templeton at around 11:20.
Let's get to the weather forecast for your part of the country.
Traffic in Auckland and it is clear.
That's all today, but thank you for watching. Please subscribe, have a nice day, and we will see you on Wednesday.
This is Tom and Ben News for New Zealand with Ben the Talking Dog and Tom the Talking Cat.
Kia ora, good evening. The former head of Auckland's Heart of the City has admitted 4 charges of tax evasion. Alex Swinney pleaded guilty in the Auckland District Court this morning to the charges.
Last year, Swinney pleaded not guilty to 39 of knowingly not providing tax returns and tax forms to the Commissioner of Inland Revenue with the intention of evading tax assessment.
Today, those charges were replaced with 4 representative charges involving $1.8 million in unpaid taxes.
Small businesses and job growth will be the Labour Party's top priority for the next 2 years as it focuses on increasing wages and reducing poverty.
Labour leader Andrew Little delivered his State of the Nation speech in Auckland this morning, where he outlined the party's goals leading up to the next election.
Prime Minister John Key had already done his Nation of speech today.
A second man has admitted assaulting high-profile cricketer Jesse Ryder outside a bar in Christchurch nearly 2 years ago.
The 39-year-old builder made the surprise plea in Christchurch District Court today after earlier indicating he would defend a charge of assault.
He admitted an amended charge of assault with intent to injure.
Fire investigators are combing through a classroom which caught alight at Christchurch's Shirley Intermediate School overnight.
The small building used as a bilingual unit went up in flames around 9:30 p.m. and was brought under control around 11 p.m. following a concerted effort from a dozen firefighters.
Fire Service Southern Communications spokesperson Mo Barbara says an investigation is still underway to determine if the fire was deliberately lit.
A fire in the garage of a Danske Mobile outlet in the Auckland suburb of Mount Eden has been attended by 15 fire engines this morning.
The fire service was alerted of the blaze after 11:20 a.m. after a piece of furniture making equipment caught fire.
The building was evacuated and the fire has since been contained. Let's get to the weather forecast for your part of the country.
Okay, are we still using $2 cheap chairs?
I think we are, but we do need to get to the weather forecast now.
Traffic in Auckland, and it is a bit queued on the northern motorway, but do take care on the northwestern motorway because of the roadworks just after Te Atatu Road.
That's all today. Thank you for watching. Please hit the subscribe button and we will see you on Friday.
This is Tom and B News for New Zealand.
Kia ora, good evening, and in developing news, National Northland MP Mike Sabin has resigned from Parliament effective immediately, following reports he had been the subject of a police investigation.
In a short statement released by the party this afternoon, Mr. Sabin said the decision to resign was because of personal issues that were best dealt with outside Parliament.
Mike will not make further comment on this issue.
Also in developing news, Green co-leader Russell Norman is also standing down from the party, effective from May. He says he wants to spend time with his family.
To other news now, and a lockdown has been lifted and a student arrested after threats were made to Miami High School on Australia's Gold Coast.
Concerned parents gathered at the school's front gate while police in bulletproof vests patrolled the area.
The threat was made by the Year 9 student at 11:20 a.m. local time.
3 people have received moderate injuries in a crash on State Highway 1 in Canterbury.
An ambulance spokesperson said a car and a van collided just out of Orari around 5:15 p.m.
Police at the scene said it's the second crash on this stretch of road which sees motorists reduce their speed from 100 km to 80 km per hour.
Air New Zealand has resumed its discount night rider service for a limited time after the company scrapped the service early last year.
From February 20th to March 19th, customers can purchase a seat on the late night service between Auckland and Nelson or Auckland and Christchurch 5 days a week.
Tickets cost $29.
Police are calling for witnesses to come forward after a pedestrian died while he was hit by a truck near Tauranga.
Police believe the man stepped from the shoulder of the road into the path of the truck, which was travelling towards Katikati along State Highway 2 at Te Puna.
Emergency services were called to the scene around 7:05. The man was pronounced dead at the scene. Weather in Auckland, and it is 26 degrees, low of a warm 20 degrees, and sunny.
That's all today. Thank you for watching. Please hit the subscribe button. Have a nice day and see you next Thursday.
This is Tom and Ben News for New Zealand.
Kia ora, good evening, and in developing news that has been going on all day, dozens of helicopters are now in the air trying to contain a rampaging fire, which the fire service says has just too much energy.
The fire in Onamalutu, now estimated to have spread through almost 300 hectares of forestry, farmland and scrub, began around 11 p.m. last night.
The fire has grown by 20% since this morning.
Al Jazeera journalist Peter Gresta has arrived in Brisbane after 400 days in an Egyptian jail.
The Australian national spent 2 days in Cyprus after being freed, touching down this morning to a hero's welcome as he was greeted by his family and colleagues.
Mohammed Fahmy and Baha Mohammed are still held in the Egyptian prison.
Mana Party leader Honi Harawira has ruled himself out of the competition for Northland seat, but says someone for Mana may run.
Mr. Harawira made his first public appearance at the Te Marae in Waitangi today, after the last year's disappointing election result saw him out of Parliament.
Mr. Sabin recently resigned. It's believed he was involved in a police investigation.
A packed passenger train slammed into a jeep, killing at least 6 people north of Manhattan.
The female driver of the jeep and 5 passengers on the Metro North train were killed in Tuesday's rush hour accident, which ripped up tracks and saw a railroad car explode.
It was the worst of 3 deadly crashes in less than 2 years on a rail line that carries around 280,000 passengers a day.
Bad weather is hampering the search for a climber missing in Mount Aspiring National Park.
Wanaka man Simon Bell, 33 years old, was last seen on January 14th at a hut prior to his attempt to climb Mount Earnslaw.
Since then, low cloud and poor visibility have prevented searchers flying into the area, and the weather is not expected to clear until Saturday. Let's get to the weather forecast for your part of the country.
Traffic in Auckland, and it is clear.
That's all today. Thank you for watching. Please hit the subscribe button and see you next time.
This is Tom and Ben News for New Zealand's Friday the 13th special, with Ben the talking dog and Tom the talking cat.
Kia ora, good evening. Missing Auckland woman Laura Singh has been found alive in Wellsford, north of Auckland.
In a statement this afternoon, police confirmed the 34-year-old was en route to Auckland, where she will receive medical assistance.
Her bank account had not been touched and her phone and her personal items were left in her home.
It's now day 5 of Mark Lundy's retrial, and his brother says he told him he'd used prostitutes on at least 4 occasions before brutal killings of his wife and daughter in 2000.
The youngest of the 3 Lundy siblings, Craig Lundy, gave evidence on the 5th day of his brother's murder retrial at the High Court in Wellington this morning.
Lundy had hired a prostitute in Petone shortly before midnight and told Craig he used prostitutes on 4 occasions prior.
A family of cheetah cubs had their first official viewing at Christchurch's Orana Wildlife Park today.
The 3 boys and 1 girl named Matata, Kanzi, Gorse and Nia have been hand-raised in a quiet vet room for 3.5 months after a troublesome birth.
All 4 cubs are now safe and healthy and took the enclosure with enthusiasm this morning, playing, fighting and chasing each other through the grass.
New Zealand Post plan to put posties on customised mobility scooters so they can deliver both mail and parcels is angering workers who fear a dependent contractor model.
New Zealand Post Ashley Smelts confirmed on Thursday standard mail will be delivered every second day to households in urban areas starting from July in larger towns and cities.
And rolling out to smaller centres over 2 years.
A large
Okay, I don't know what's happening here, but a large pod of close to 200 pilot whales have stranded near Farewell Spit near Golden Bay.
The Department of Conservation staff and project volunteers are currently on the scene.
The tide is due to come in around 5 p.m, which is not long ago, and the whales can only be refloated on a full tide. To sport now, and the Wellington Phoenix have signed former Western Sydney Wanderers wing Kwabena Apia Kubi until the end of the 2015-16 A-League season.
Apia Kubi has made 25 appearances for the Wanderers over 3 seasons at the club, but this season has appeared just twice and left the club by mutual consent at the end of January.
Apia was born in New Zealand of Ghanaian parents and moved to Australia as a 6-year-old.
Let's get to the weather forecast for your part of the country.
Traffic in Auckland, and it is congested from Rosedale to South Auckland. Wow, that would take you about 1.5 hours to get past the city in these conditions.
Gee, that's long. That's all today. Thanks for watching. Please hit the subscribe button and have a bad day. Oopsies, I mean a good day, and see you next Friday, which is not the 13th.
This is Tom and Ben News for New Zealand, with Ben the talking dog and Tom the talking cat.
Kia ora, good evening. A massive king tide will strike Auckland's beaches tomorrow.
The king tide will start at 10:05 a.m. for the east coast and 12:15 p.m. for the west coast.
If we have the footage, we will upload the video tomorrow.
A severely underperforming charter school has been put on notice by Education Minister Hekia Parata.
Hekia met with the Te Pūnawa o Te Wairua School and issued a performance concern and to take action on areas that are a significant concern.
A specialist audit will be there in a month to inspect progress.
The two retailers who won the tender to operate Auckland Airport's duty-free stores were announced today.
Arianta International and Alice Travel Retail Pacific will replace JR Duty and DFS Duty Free from July.
There will be no job losses.
Search crews have failed to find a missing tourist who was missing in Fiordland yesterday.
There are now serious concerns for the safety of the woman after she failed to show up for her aqua taxi at Manapori River at 6:30 p.m.
The description is long auburn hair, 25 years old, and thought to be a German tourist.
Supermarkets in Greyland, Auckland have found themselves at the frontline battle to prevent the spread of the Queensland fruit fly.
Biosecurity officials will be out today reminding shoppers of their obligations.
The Queensland fruit fly damages our fruit industry and there are only a bunch of them in Queensland.
Let's get to tomorrow's forecast.
That's all today. Thank you for watching. Please hit the subscribe button and see you later. Good evening. Prince Harry is expected to visit New Zealand before attending the Cemetery Anzac Dawn service in Gallipoli.
In the next few months, he will spend several weeks based in Australia while seconded to work with the Australian Defence Force.
Cantabrians may have been woken up by a 3.6 magnitude earthquake overnight.
It struck 10 kilometres east of Christchurch and the depth of 11 kilometres.
So far, there is no damage.
9 people are dead following a mass murder in rural Missouri in which the suspected gunman took his own life.
With the investigation still underway, police said it appeared that 7 people were shot and killed in 4 different residences.
Police found 2 people dead at the first house.
A pilot killed in a helicopter crash near Queenstown was a man of faith, said by his family.
18-year-old James Gardner and 42-year-old Stephen Combe were killed in the crash at Lockie River Basin last week.
South African-born Mr. Combe, who was married with 2 children, was funeraled today.
The Chinese New Year festival opened in Albert Park last night. 200,000 people attended the celebration.
Meanwhile, another event was hosted tonight. It was the New Zealand versus Australia at Eden Park in cricket.
The result was New Zealand won 152 runs by 9 outs and Australia 151 runs to 10 outs.
Let's get to your weather forecast.
The magic dragon lives by the sea. and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu.
Little Jackie Paper, well he loved that rascal Puff, and he brought him strings and sealing wax and some other fancy stuff. Oh,
Puff the magic.
That's all today. Thank you for watching, and this is the last episode of Season 12.
Season 13 will be announced on our Facebook and Twitter pages, but don't worry, 60 Seconds will continue and Investigation Today will come back on 8th of March.
In the meanwhile, please subscribe and see you in due course.